Hey lovelies, welcome back to the channel. So basically in this tutorial we're going to be learning how to make a bumper jacket. So this bumper jacket is for a child. So if this is what you're looking out for, please stay tuned, then let's get right into the video. Alright, and before I forget guys, happy new year to you. May this year bring us lots of blessings and grace. So now I'll go to my cutting table, then I'll show you the materials I'm going to be working with. So here I have my material. So it can be called a single foam material, or there's another name for it as well. So this is a super stretchy material. Then here is my Ankara fabric I'm going to be working with, and here I have my lining piece. So here now just go ahead and fold my fabric into two. So cut out using the measurement I'm going to be needing. That's the chest measurement plus extra 3 inches. So 2 of which will serve as the free or seam ease allowance. Then 1 inch will serve as my sewing allowance. So yeah, I'll go ahead and mark my shoulder. Remember that my fabric is folded into 2. So I'll go ahead and mark my shoulder. Then I'll go ahead and locate my chest line. So I located the chest line of that on 6. Then I'll connect what I have from the shoulder. Then I'll connect it like this. So from this part here, I'll go ahead to get the midpoint of this. Now then I'll be coming out by 1 inch from this part. Then I'll make a curve like this. Then I'll bend it into my chest line. So after I'm done with this, what I'm just going to be doing is I'll just go ahead to slope my shoulder with about 1 inch. Then from this part I'll take my neck measurement. So the redness of that is 2 by 2. Then I'll make a curve like this. Go ahead and bend it up like this. So here is the shoulder slope. Slope your shoulder and then connect it to what you have from your neckline. Now after I'm done with this, I will just take my scissors and cut this out. So remember that I folded my fabric using the body measurement divided by 4, then 3 inches allowance. So out of that 3 inches, I'll be sewing with 1 inch, and I'll be using 2 inch for seam allowance or ease. So now I'll go ahead to cut off all these parts now, the neck and the armhole part. So this is what the front will look like. So for the back, go ahead and have your zipper allowance. So you can make this 1.5, you can make this 2 inch depending on what you actually want. Now after you are done with this, now you go ahead and cut on the armhole part like this. Now pay attention to what I will be doing here. Then go ahead and cut on the shoulder slope as well. So once you are done with this, now the measurement for the neckline for the back is going to be different. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll just trace this out first. Then from this part now, separate this and then go down by an additional 1 inch on that part, so that I have that part coming down by 1 inch. So this is what I'm going to be having for the front. So the back is going to be higher while the front is going to be coming low. We don't want this to be too choky, considering the fact that we're still going to have an extension, like a collar on the neck. So this is just the difference between the front and the back. As you can see, the back is higher a bit with about 1 inch compared to that of the front. So I'll open up the front now so that I have it in 2 pieces like this. So guys, what I'm going to be doing now is I'll go ahead and cut lining pieces for both the front and the back piece. So remember, I have 2 pieces for the front, then I have a piece for the back. So I open up my lining now and then go ahead and cut, and I'll back to show us what it looks like after I was done cutting. So take your time while you're cutting, guys. So lovelies, this is what I had after I was done cutting. So I went ahead to cut lining pieces for the front and the back piece, and this is what it looks like. Now I'll be working on the sleeve. So many times we've drafted a sleeve on this. So take note that the length of the sleeve, are going to be subtracting about 2.5 inch from the length of the sleeve, so that you have this your black material on the other part. So from the length of my sleeve, I subtracted about 2.5 inches because I'm going to be adding another black material to that. So to cut the sleeve, I'll go ahead and measure what I have as my armhole. So whatever I have there, I'll be replacing it on the sleeve. I'm just going to make this a freehand sketch. As you can see, there's no much sketching here. So I'll just go ahead and mark down that part 2 inches. Then I'll just use my freehand now to sketch this. Keep in mind that the sleeve is also going to be wide because I'm going to be using that black material which is stretchy to pull off on the excess, so that I have the sleeve looking a bit puffy. So here now, confirm if what I have on the sleeve is actually okay for what I'm going to be working with. Then I will shape this down like this. So I'm actually fond of using my tape rule as a ruler. Sometimes it is very helpful. So I'll just cut off the excess I have here, and then I'll go ahead and cut another sleeve. So go ahead and trim this off carefully like this. So lovelies, now we're going to go ahead now and cut lining pieces as well for it, and that was what they looked like. Now we're going to go ahead now to start joining our pieces together. So this is what the back piece looks like. So this is what the front piece is going to be looking like. So I'm going to go ahead to join this side, right side facing right side, so that I have the wrong part of this fabric on that part like this. So I'm going to be stitching those parts you can see me pointing on. So I'll go ahead and stitch that and then attach my sleeve to it. So make sure you are doing this on the wrong side, so that when you turn it out, you have all your seam inside, and this is looking as neat as possible. So whatever you do for that piece, which is the main fabric, repeat the same thing on the lining piece as well. So I'm going to place it like this together, and I'm going to stitch on those parts I stitched for the fabric as well, so the sides and then the shoulder as well, and then as well as the sleeve. So lovely, this is what I had after I was done. So this is what the lining piece looks like, and then the main fabric. Now I'm going to be inserting the right side of this into it like this. So just pay attention and see how I'm going to be inserting. So make sure you have the wrong side on the wrong side, what I mean is the wrong side of the lining facing the wrong side of the fabric, so that you can have the neater part of the lining on the outer part, so your seam are all going to be hidden inside. I hope that is clear enough, so that all your seams are not going to be visible. So once you are done with this, make sure it is sitting properly. You can see that I have all my seam inside, so that it will not be visible. So this will actually make your work as neat as possible. Now once I'm done with this, I'll be working on the band. So for this band, like I said, I'm going to be using a scuba material. It is also called a single foam. So the length of this is actually about 20 inches. Then as you can see, I cut it on a fold. It is about 2.5 inch. I'll be using the half an inch I added to stitch this back. Then I went ahead to add my Ankara fabric here. So I just basically took what I have on the hem of this top randomly and then subtracted 10 inches from it, so that since the material is super stretchy, it is going to be pulling off on the edges, and then I have it looking the same when I'm done with that. So I'm just going to notch on the center of this. So on fold there, I have about 20 inches, and then round the bottom of the shirt or of the bumper jacket, I have 30 inches. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to get the mid of all of this together like this. So once I've gone ahead to knot the mid, I'll just place it like this and use my pin to hold it down. So this is how I'm going to be adding my fabric. So I'll make sure the black material is facing the right side of this, and then I'll place the lining like this, so that after I'm done flipping, all sewing allowance will be inside. So remember that I actually went ahead to reduce the length of the black material because it is stretchy, so that it can go ahead and gather. So you can see that there's some distance that if the black material did not cover until I stretch it out. So the same thing I did for the matte fabric, I'm going to notch the center of the lining as well, and I'm going to make sure I use my pin to hold it down, so that I can go ahead and pull these pieces together and stick them down. So just watch carefully what you can see me doing. It will be actually easier to get that way. So lovelies, once I'm done with this, I'll just take this to my sewing machine and then work on stitching this down. Remember to pull the black piece. The more you sew, you pull it so that you can have it equal. Now this is the whole essence of it. So guys, let's take this to our sewing machine. I'll be back to show you what it looks like. So guys, this is what I had after I was done with the lower part. Now I'll be turning this so that you can see what the other part looks like. So I'll be working on the sleeve as well. So this is what the inner part looks like. You can see it came out as neat as possible. Now you can see that all my seams are in. This way you have a nice work and then it is neater. So I'll be working on the sleeve like I said earlier. I'll just go ahead to use my machine to stitch down the sleeve and the lining so that it doesn't move here and there. Now I'll be attaching this black material, the same scuba material, the single foam material, whichever name you are familiar with. So actually I'll be measuring this so that you can see what the length is. So the same way I went ahead to get it, so I have 2.5 there, and then the length is about 6 to 7 inches. So the same way I went ahead to get at the bottom part of the jacket. So just measure this like this. So the length of this is 2.5 inches like I said, and then the width is about 7 inches. So I'll be using this actually to complete the length of the sleeve. Then I'll be pulling it as well so that it has that ruffle effect just like it did on the lower part. So I'll go ahead to stitch this down. This part you can see me pointing to first of all, and once I'm done stitching it, I will turn it over and then I will be stitching it directly on that part. So that's what I'm going to be doing next now. So I'll just take this to my sewing machine and be back to show us what it looks like after I'm done with that. So lovelies, this is what I had after I was done stitching that. As you can see, I said that part is super stretchy, so the hand will fit in perfectly into that part. Now that I'm done with that, what I'm going to be working on now is the collar. So I'll go ahead to take my 2 inches allowance I added, which has the zipper allowance, and I will notch it on both sides. So go ahead and take that measurement on both sides, then you go ahead and notch it. So lovers, after I'm done notching, I'll go ahead to take what I have left. I'll go ahead to take the measurement of what I have left away from where I notched, and I'll go ahead to cut the same black material I used for the sleeve. So this is what I'm going to be using. So this part is not actually stretchy because I don't really need the stretchy effect. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'll just go ahead and attach this on where I have where I measured apart from where the zipper is. So excluding the zipper part, and attach this round on it so that it can complete the neckline of this. So I'll just go ahead and insert it now. So this is basically how I'm going to be doing it. Take note that I'm not going to be sewing it on the zipper allowance. I'm going to start sewing this away from the zipper allowance. So while doing this, you want to take your time, guys, so that you have it as neat as possible. So I actually want my seam to be inside, so that is why you can see that it kind of went out of view here. So I'm going to be turning this over, like totally over from the zipper allowance part I created, so that I can have the sewing of this inside. So I'm going to be turning it and then repeat the same process I went ahead to take while doing down of this. So I'm going to be sewing it in a way that both the same for stitching this down is going to be inside. So this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to place it on the fabric like this, and the lining is going to be covering it up, then I'll stitch. So I'll do this and show us what it looks like. So lovely, this is what I had after I was done with that. I already went ahead to add my zipper allowance too. So this is what my bomber jacket looks like. So you'll actually find this tutorial helpful. Please subscribe, like, and please leave your comments on this channel. If you also have a review, please go ahead and leave it in the comment section. Thanks for watching, guys.